Hello, everybody. We continue to delve into this story whether Trump was actually recruited in 1987 by KGB. Is this all this deal with Agent Krasnov is real? And I would like to present to your attention another article about this matter, about a second KGB officer who alleged that Trump was recruited by KGB. It was the allegations were from Yury Shvets, KGB major in 1980s, and he has made claims consistent with those made, on February 20 by Alnur Musayev, who was a high-ranking official in Soviet KGB and then in Kazakh counterpart of the KGB after the dissolution of Soviet Union. So, let's do it. Note, this is a part of the Krasnov file, an ongoing project to analyze the 40-plus years of history between Donald Trump and Russia, and in particular to evaluate allegations of Trump being an asset of the KGB. Recently, former KGB officer Alnur Musayev alleged that Donald Trump was recruited by the KGB in 1980s under the codename Krasnov. And there is a link to the post, but the links to everything will be in the description. I will leave it there. Musayev is not the first KGB officer to make such claims. Yury Shvets, a former KGB major, has asserted that Russian intelligence has been cultivating Trump as an asset for over 4 decades. Shvets, who served in the KGB First Chief Directorate during 1980s, provided allegations that generally track with Musayev's claims. So this is the photo of this guy, Shvets. And he is quite well known right now in Ukrainian or Russian-speaking YouTube sphere because he, at least from the beginning of, he came to my attention at the beginning, since the beginning of full-scale invasion, because he is... he has his YouTube channel and he is making live translations, live broadcasts every day. He is doing something. I'm not watching him, but I know that his YouTube channel of this guy, of Shvets, is very popular, but somewhat controversial because he is using... He's not really trusted much because he... sometimes claims something that is too grandiose. I mean, with obvious aim of self-aggrandizement. So I'm just saying I would like him to be truthful and Trump to be a Russian asset, but we should take anything that is from this guy carefully, because he has history of making some outlandish claims. Okay? Shvets' allegations generally track with Musayev's. According to Shvets, Trump's initial contact with Soviet intelligence dates back to 1980, when he was identified as potential asset. Shvets claims that during Trump's 1987 visit to Moscow, the KGB was heavily involved in managing the visit, orchestrating meetings designed to flatter and influence him, planting seeds of encouragement on Trump's then nascent political ambition, and setting up those ambitions in a way that aligned with Soviet interests. Notably, upon returning to the United States, Trump took out full-page newspaper ads criticizing U.S. foreign policy and defense spending. Actions that Shvets suggests were influenced by his interactions in Moscow. Authors comment, Shvets' depiction of KGB stage managing Trump's 1987 trip to Russia is fully consistent with what would be expected of the KGB in that era and in that situation. Um, Specifically, we know that the KGB had been tasked to recruit Western businessmen, and we also know that playing a long game with potential political leaders was always a key part of the KGB playbook. So these allegations by Shvets are not revelatory, but rather they reinforce what was known of KGB practices at the time. Shvets provided a series of interviews to Craig Unger, which Unger summarized in the book American Compromise. Shvets elaborates on the KGB's tactics, stating that they played the game as if they were immensely impressed by his personality. This approach, Shvets suggests, was tailored to appeal to Trump's vanity and ego, making him more susceptible to influence. Shvets further asserts that the KGB circulated an internal cable in 1987 celebrating the successful execution of an active measure by a newly cultivated American asset, referring to Trump's newspaper ads promoting policies favorable to the Soviet Union. Authors comment, in my work in intelligence, the core concept around recruitment was to understand what was lacking or needed in the life of the target and find a way to supply it. Trump's extreme ego vanity issues would clearly have been something to be focused on in any intelligence operation targeted against him. This would have made him easy to manipulate, but also they would create control issues. It may be easy to manipulate him, but his volatility, feelings of grandiosity, etc., would make it difficult to achieve a fully controlled agent relationship. So, while there are many who tend to say Trump was perfect agent material, I think it's more complicated than that. We will be addressing this in more details as we pursue this further. Again, I'm not sure if they really calculated an internal cable so that everybody knows that Trump their asset. That's to me it sounds insane. I think more. I mean, such internal cable can be, for example, if somebody from KGB defected to United States or to other Western country, and then they will make some announcement stating what was the reason and what is done about that. But I don't think that they would circulate. I mean, to know if it is done so, and if they show this ad and saying that it was done by our agent, you are revealing your agent, that your Trump is your agent, and you don't know who. I mean, that's insane. This thing is insane. You don't know who in your staff in this who will see this cable and who might be working. I mean, only people who need to know will receive this. Shvets, I don't think that he needs to know that Trump was at his level. He needed to know that Trump was KGB asset. So I think this thing from Shvets, which is sounds quite implausible. I don't think if he find out somehow about this, I don't think that it was from internal cable. Okay. So, background of Yury Shvets. Yury Shvets began his career in Soviet intelligence after graduating from the Patrice Lumumba People's Friendship University with a degree in international law. Patrice Lumumba People's Friendship University was actually a university where we took, Soviet Union, and it was in Moscow. When Soviet Union took, it was a training ground for future revolutionaries and terrorists. So, Patrice Lumumba People's Friendship University. And there was a joke in Soviet Union about some airplane crashing in jungles in Africa. There are 3 survivors. German, British, and Soviet guy. So they are captured by cannibals. They are brought before the chief of the cannibals, and chief of the cannibals says, okay, German, we will eat for breakfast. British, we will eat for lunch. And Russian, we are not going to eat because he was my roommate in Patrice Lumumba People's Friendship University. Okay, that was Soviet joke in Soviet Union in the 80s. From 85 he underwent further training in the Academy of Foreign Intelligence, where he claims he studied alongside Vladimir Putin and got to know the future leader. Again, we don't know if he really studied. That's what I was saying, that he was previously he is known to make some self-aggrandizing claims. There was in 90s this TV series Highlander about the guy who was alive, living from Middle Ages. Guys jumping and trying to cut each other's head with some long swords, different swords. Okay, and this guy, if there was some notable event, this Highlander, this immortal guy, he was for sure in the very thick of it. I mean, the fact that he was alive during this time doesn't mean that he was involved in something. He could have been on the other part of the globe at the time. So this Shvets is claiming that he was there and he heard that and he was involved in this, but we have absolutely no way to confirm it. So this claim, I mean, the guy just, I think, I have really big issue with Shvets, okay, and the information that he provides. In 1990, Shvets resigned from KGB on political grounds as the Soviet Union was disintegrating. I don't know that you could resign in 1919 from anything in Soviet Union, especially from KGB or from armed service. You could not resign until it's your time to. I mean, if you at the age of retirement, you have to serve till retirement. There was not. I mean, 1990. It is still KGB in full. I mean, it's still Soviet Union in full power still. It will be dissolved only at the end of 1991. So how Shvets could resign from anything, I don't know. As the Soviet Union was disintegrated. Soviet Union was not actually, well, okay, it was disintegrated, but I don't think that it would be possible to resign from anything. Facing suspicion from his superiors, he left Russia in 1993 by obtaining a forged passport and bribing a border guard, eventually relocated permanently to the United States, where he later obtained citizenship. Obtaining forged passport, bribing border guard, I mean, I am sure that everything was not so dramatic as this thing is describing. During his tenure in the KGB, Shvets was involved in cultivating and recruiting American assets. He claimed to have recruited two key sources of political intelligence: Socrates, a former aide to President Jimmy Carter with strong ties to Greece, and Sputnica, a journalist working in Washington. These assertions, detailed in his book Washington Station, My Life as a KGB Spy in America, have been subject of scrutiny and debate. Author comments that there was serious effort put forward to confirm the identity of Socrates, and those efforts never resulted in anything definite. You see, this guy is claiming quite a lot of things. I think the involvement of this guy Shvets just unfortunately only discredits this idea. I mean, this... Regarding his knowledge of Trump's alleged cultivation, Shvets' insights are based on his experience within the KGB First Chief Directorate, which was responsible for foreign intelligence operations. He was in Washington from 85-87 and thus had a window into operations against Americans. There is no indication that he was directly involved in the trap operation, however. Still, his position would have granted him access to internal communications and reports detailing such activities. Author comments, Shvets' claims are ultimately interesting and a valid piece of the puzzle, but I have not yet been able to find any indications that he had direct involvement, and while his claims are interesting and plausible, I do not see a basis to consider them to be definitive. Okay? He is like this guy, Highlander. I was there and I was doing that, and no. We don't have, we don't know that. And you see this quite a lot of, cloak and dagger stuff, and I have a real suspicion that it was not so dramatic as it is claimed here. Understanding asset and recruitment, the term recruitment or recruited asset had been used many times to try and describe Trump's relationship with Russian intelligence. It is important to have a reasonably nuanced understanding of all the things recruitment particularly as it would be used and understood by former KGB operatives. John Cipher, a former CIA senior intelligence service officer, and provided clarity on this topic, writing in Just Security. The Russians have a much more expansive and nuanced view of who is an agent working on behalf of their system. Okay, really, this is, I will give I just, frankly speaking, I'm a bit tired of reading this. If you would like to read it, I give the link, you can come to this and read. Conclusion. In summary, the allegations presented by both Musayev and Shvets suggest a concerned efforts by Soviet and later Russian intelligence to develop a relationship with Trump over several decades. Trump's own actions clearly suggest that such a relationship exists on some level. He displays a clear affinity for Putin, Russia, and the Russian position on many issues that in the past have been treated as adversarial to American interests. But the true nature and depth of Trump's relationship to Russia, Putin, and Russian intelligence remains elusive. The work documenting and analyzing it continues. So, from my point of view, involvement of Shvets in this just discredits a little bit all this thing. Because this guy is unreliable, in my... I'm not saying that, I mean, you have seen this, that that he displays a clear affinity for Putin, Russia, and Russian position in many issues. Yeah, yes. But I don't think that we should involve Shvets here, because Shvets is really not a reliable source. Okay? So I will continue to give you some other videos on this topic, because I think that Michael Sellers will go on to continue this. And next video will be about how it came that Trump was invited by Soviet government to visit Moscow in 1987. I will film it shortly after. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and until next time.